dissolved at Yellowstone. On June 7, 2016, 23-year-old Colin Scott arrived at Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming with his sister Sable. They had not come to stay on the boardwalk. Scott and his sister left the designated path at Norris Geyser Basin and walked approximately 225 yards into a restricted area. Park regulations explicitly prohibit leaving boardwalks in geothermal zones. The signs were posted. The rules were clear. They kept walking. Their goal, confirmed by Yellowstone's Deputy Chief Ranger, was to find a spot to soak in the thermal pools. The activity is known as hot potting. It is illegal inside the park. When they reached a thermal pool, Scott knelt down to check the water temperature. He slipped. He fell in. His sister attempted to pull him out. She could not. There was no phone signal in the area, so she ran to a nearby ranger station to get help. Sable had been recording on her phone when it happened. That footage was retained by park officials and never released. A rescue crew reached the hot spring before 8 p.m. that evening. Scott's body was visible in the water. Due to a developing lightning storm and the extreme conditions, they could not retrieve him that night. When crews returned the next morning, the body was gone. His wallet and shoes were recovered nearby. His remains were not. The water temperature at the spring had been recorded at over 212 degrees Fahrenheit. The pH was 5. The official National Park Service incident report concluded that the extreme heat and acidity of the water had dissolved his remains entirely. The cause of death was recorded as scalding due to submersion in a thermal hot spring. No remains were ever recovered. Cliff Pose, Norway. On September 6, 2015, 24-year-old Christy Kafka-Lautis was standing in a queue. She was an Australian exchange student enrolled at the University of Bergen. She had arrived in Norway only weeks before to begin her semester abroad. That afternoon, she had hiked to Trolltunga with a group of approximately 30 fellow students from the university. Trolltunga is a rock promontory in the Odda region of western Norway. It extends out from the mountainside 700 meters above Lake Ringedalsvatnet. It has no safety railing. It is one of the most photographed locations in the country. The hike to reach it covers 27 kilometers round trip with 1,100 meters of elevation gain. A queue had formed. Visitors were taking turns stepping out onto the rock to be photographed. It was routine. It was what people came to do. When it was Kafka-Lautis' turn, she stepped out onto the promontory. Hardanger police spokesman Terje Kvalvik confirmed what happened next. She stepped too far to the right. She walked over some rocks at the face of the cliff. She fell. The distance below was not confirmed in official reports. The rescue and recovery operation was conducted that evening by the Tyssedal Red Cross. University of Bergen rector Dag Rune Olsen confirmed her death the following day. Her mother later told reporters that Kafka-Lautis had been taking scenic photos at the time. Whether she was taking a photo of herself or stepping aside for others in the queue was disputed by her family. Police confirmed only that she had stepped too far to the right and fallen. It was the first recorded death from a fall at Trolltunga. Following her death, Norway's official tourism body removed photographs from its website showing tourists performing dangerous poses at the rock's tip. Restricted Area, Peru. On June 29, 2016, 51-year-old German tourist Oliver Park was at Machu Picchu in Peru. The ancient Incan citadel sits at nearly 8,000 feet above sea level in the Andes. It receives more than 1 million visitors per year. Restricted areas are marked. Warning signs are posted throughout the site. Security cordons divide permitted zones from prohibited ones. Park crossed one of those cordons. He entered a restricted area near a cliff. He found another tourist nearby and asked them to take his photograph. He was not with a companion. The person he approached was a stranger. The photo he wanted required a jump. He intended to pose as if flying through the air. He leapt. He lost his footing on the ledge and fell approximately 130 feet. Rescuers were called immediately, but the terrain required approximately 90 minutes to reach. When they arrived, Park was already dead. His body was recovered from the ravine on June 30th and transported to a police station in the nearby village before being moved to a morgue in Cusco. Peruvian authorities confirmed the sequence of events in an official report. Park had bypassed a security cordon. He had entered an area marked as restricted. He had ignored the warning signs. He had asked a stranger to capture the moment. The official report recorded his cause of death as the result of a fall from a cliff ledge while attempting to pose for a photograph. He was found dead in the ravine below. The stranger who had been asked to take the photograph was not identified. Hanging Nevada Fall. On September 4th, 2018, 18-year-old Tomer Frankfurter was hiking the Mist Trail in Yosemite National Park with a group of tourists he had met on a park shuttle bus earlier that day. Frankfurter was from Jerusalem. He was visiting the United States before beginning his mandatory military service. He had joined the group that afternoon. They were strangers. hours. By the time the group reached the top of Nevada Fall, a 594-foot waterfall, they had been hiking together for hours. The group had eaten lunch and was preparing to head back down. Frankfurter stopped. He removed his orange backpack and handed his phone to a woman in the group. He told her he wanted a photo. He explained what kind. He wanted to recreate an image he had seen taken at Telegraph Rock in Rio de Janeiro, showing a person appearing to hang from a great height. Other hikers told him it was too dangerous. He climbed over the cliff edge anyway. He began hanging from the rock face, suspended hundreds of feet above the terrain below. For a moment he held on. Then he called out that he needed help. 3 hikers grabbed him by his arms and hands. They held on. Documents released by the National Park Service through a records request confirmed what happened next. Frankfurter began sweating. He slipped from their grip. A witness stated in those documents, "We tried as hard as we could, but we had to let go." Frankfurter fell nearly 600 feet. What Frankfurter had not known was that the Telegraph Rock photograph is an optical illusion. The drop behind the person in that famous image is approximately 3 feet. His death was confirmed by Yosemite National Park. Taft Point drop. On October 23, 2018, 29-year-old Vishnu Viswanath and his wife, 30-year-old Meenakshi Murthy, set up a tripod at Taft Point in Yosemite National Park. The couple had moved to the San Francisco Bay Area from India. Viswanath worked as a software engineer at Cisco Systems. Murthy ran a travel blog and Instagram account called Holidays and Happily Ever Afters, which had accumulated approximately 25,000 followers. Their content featured the two of them at the edges of cliffs, jumping from planes and standing at heights most people would not approach. Taft Point is a granite ledge that rises 3,500 feet above Yosemite Valley. There is no safety railing at the edge. Viswanath's brother later confirmed to reporters that the couple had positioned their tripod near the ledge that evening to take a photograph of themselves. Other hikers at the overlook that day captured images of Murthy standing close to the edge shortly before sunset. One hiker, Sean Madison, told the Associated Press she was very close to the edge, but appeared comfortable. She did not seem distressed. The next morning, visitors discovered the couple's camera and tripod abandoned at the spot. There was no sign of the two of them. Rangers were alerted. Using high-powered binoculars, park rangers located both bodies approximately 800 feet below Taft Point. Rangers hiked and rappelled down the cliff to recover them, with assistance from a California Highway Patrol helicopter. Autopsy results released by the Stanislaus County Coroner's Office confirmed that both Viswanath and Murthy had been intoxicated with ethyl alcohol prior to their deaths. Earlier that same year, Murthy had posted a warning on their travel blog about photographs taken at the edges of cliffs. Did you know that wind gusts can be fatal? Both deaths were confirmed by Yosemite National Park, Cliff Edge, Singapore. On December 22, 2023, 39-year-old Nur Aisha Binte MD Akbar and her husband were hiking in Minnewaska State Park Preserve in New York. The couple had traveled from Singapore. They were on the Beacon Hill Trail in the town of Rochester, Ulster County, in the Hudson Valley region of the state. The trail passes through a preserve covering more than 22,000 acres. At approximately 1:06 p.m., they stopped. There was a cliff edge nearby. The view was clear. They moved to the edge to take photographs together. Nur Aisha lost her footing. She fell approximately 70 feet. Her husband, 41-year-old Abdul Rauf bin Mohd Saeed, witnessed the fall. He called 911 immediately. New York State Police responded. A state police aviation unit arrived and hoisted Nur Aisha from below the cliff. She was transported by helicopter to Ellenville Regional Hospital. Medical staff attempted to resuscitate her for nearly 3 hours. They were unsuccessful. Nur Aisha Binte MD Akbar was pronounced dead at Ellenville Regional Hospital. The New York State Police confirmed that the incident remained under investigation. Her husband accompanied her body back to Singapore. She was buried there. New York State Police spokesman confirmed the sequence of events. The couple had stopped on the Beacon Hill Trail, moved to the edge of the cliff to take photographs, and she had lost her footing. No other party was involved. No other circumstances were cited. The fall was approximately 70 feet. The injuries were severe. She did not survive them. Eagle Point Fall. On March 28, 2019, a man in his late 50s joined a tour group visiting Eagle Point at Grand Canyon West in Arizona. Grand Canyon West is located on the Hualapai Indian Reservation, approximately 100 miles west of Grand Canyon National Park. Eagle Point sits at the western rim of the canyon. The area is popular for its views and for the nearby skywalk. a horseshoe-shaped glass bridge that extends out over the canyon 4,000 feet above the floor below. Eagle Point itself has no barrier between visitors and the edge. Warning signs at the observation area advise tourists not to approach the rim. The man was from Macau and had traveled to Arizona as part of a larger group from Hong Kong. He stopped near the rim to take a photograph. Grand Canyon West spokesman David Leibowitz confirmed to reporters that the man was attempting a selfie when he stumbled. The man fell. He fell approximately 1,000 feet. A helicopter search was launched immediately. A helicopter retrieved his body and transported it to the medical examiner. Eagle Point and the surrounding area were closed for the remainder of the day. Leibowitz confirmed the man had not been on the skywalk at the time of the fall. He had been standing approximately 100 yards from it in an open observation area near the unprotected rim. The man was not publicly named. His death was confirmed by Grand Canyon West officials. 2 other people died at the Grand Canyon within days of this incident. The week marked one of the deadliest stretches in recent years for the canyon's visitor areas. Off-trail Mather Point. On July 3, 2020, 59-year-old Maria A. Salgado Lopez was at Grand Canyon National Park in Arizona with her family. Mather Point is one of the most visited overlooks on the South Rim. It sits adjacent to the park's main visitor center complex and is positioned among the most heavily signposted and well-traveled areas in the canyon. Millions of people walk the rim there each year. Salgado Lopez of Scottsdale, Arizona, left the designated trail with her family to take photographs. The National Park Service confirmed the sequence of events in an official statement. She had been hiking off-trail when the incident occurred. She was taking photographs with her family at the time. She accidentally stepped off the edge. Her body was recovered by park rangers approximately 100 feet below the canyon rim, near the South Rim Visitor Center. The National Park Service and the Coconino County Medical Examiner's Office opened an investigation. The official NPS statement read, Ms. Salgado Lopez had been hiking off trail and taking photographs with family when she accidentally stepped off the edge. There were no additional details released about the number of family members present or the specific nature of the photographs being taken. The investigation was ongoing at the time of the official statement. She had not fallen from a lookout platform. She had not been at an unrailed overlook. She had stepped off the rim itself, in one of the busiest and most clearly marked sections of the entire park. Maria A. Salgado Lopez died from the fall. Her death was confirmed by the National Park Service. The Coconino County Medical Examiner's Office was listed as a co-investigating authority.